Chapter 2. Hello there, Mr. Johnson. From The Mango Men and Other Manifestations by Buujee Savage. My gifts have been getting a lot stronger lately. It's to the point now where I know way too much about people, my own future, and what's about to come into my life. Usually, when my ancestors are nudging me to go get my nails done, do my hair, buy certain dresses, be at this location, it usually means I'm about to meet some sort of mystery man. This one was a little bit different. That morning, I had woken up to do my bi-weekly long run to train for a marathon. Little did I know the next 24 hours were about to go a bit different than usual. By different, I mean fun. The last couple of days, as I've been looking at my phone, my social media has been changing to a bunch of faces of men who all look quite similar, even in commercials. My guides and ancestors were showing me how to recognize this person and that he is significant. Sometimes I wonder, if I told people the truth, would they fully believe everything that happens to me in a day? I barely believe myself some days. I had also been focusing on my love life more with my coach, who is a pro at manifestation, and I happened to meet her a little over a year ago. But with my siphoning incident, we can get into that later, I wasn't able to get her coaching at the time, and now I could. Now that my gifts are a lot stronger, I can tell the difference between who's here to take and who's here to support. The whole reason I mostly trust my ancestors and my spiritual team is because at times people can be a little, shall we say, low frequency. I had written on a piece of paper in my ancestor book last week, "Summer Fling, best summer yet, period." I just wanted to have fun. My Spotify kept playing "Girls Just Want to Have Fun" randomly and was echoing in the background of stores wherever I went. I saw signs that even said "Best Summer Yet." Clearly, they got the message. Scripting is so powerful, but many people don't use it as much as they should. Me, on the other hand, I use it every single day. No matter what I want to manifest, even if it's a delicious meal that day or a delicious man. I don't usually ask for a type or anything like that, just someone who the universe or my ancestors think would be a fun time. A potential partner or not, I don't know. I was learning how to get to know myself and what my body was most comfortable with in this phase of my life. I also had a long conversation with my ancestors about how sometimes I feel a bit prude lately when I'm overworking. But it was very clear that certain ancestors wanted me to get over that phase with this little, well, big surprise. That day, I went to the store to pick up a few things: a new hairbrush, some perfume, and some new outfits. When I went to the counter, this person had these beautiful nails. I asked them where they got them from. My ancestors wouldn't stay quiet. Ask her, I heard. They told me the place was just across the street and who to ask for: Tina. I laughed to myself because I started getting visions of Tina from Bob's Burgers and thinking about my old water bottle with her face on it that said "Butts." But I know that's not who they were talking about. They wrote their information down and gave me their personal cell and said, "You should go there and get your nails done." I said, okay. I immediately called and made an appointment and got right in. We can call this divine timing. I also had an event this weekend at a winery in the countryside, so I figured I might as well doll myself up before it was time to show my beautiful face. The ancestors are always particular about how I wear my hair and how I dress when it comes to meeting people. When I got there, the ancestors told me what color and shape to pick, and that's what I did. I always do what they say. They never have let me down, unlike other folks who I've met before. My usual cherry red stiletto nails. That usually pops up when Marie Laveau's energy is around. That's when my gifts get a little creepy. I'd say they're like that right now. Visiting her grave near my family's in New Orleans reminded me that there were many people in my lineage who were very gifted, and it just so happened that it was also passed down to me. I love the red. It makes me feel quite sexy. A little claw here or there on a naked back never hurt anybody, right? Well, that night I went to sleep and set my alarm to get up bright and early. In the rising, I put on my favorite pink booty shorts and my favorite sports bra, tied my hair back, put on my glasses, and headed out the door confidently. I was really starting to think that these shorts were lucky. Every time I wore them, I met someone. I'm never going to give them away. I got to the park where I usually begin my run and strolled along the hill. I did my usual warm-up with a little sprinting. It was really sunny, bright, and a little bit warmer than usual that day, so I decided to not run so fast. I love running by the water. It always makes me so happy. Oshun's energy is always so strong there. I feel quite lucky and grounded whenever I'm there. I began running, glancing up at the sky like a weird fairy daisy. Started getting a little sweaty from, well, exercising, duh. Reflecting on how I forgot to put on my sunscreen that day, I get, a lot of visions from time to time while I'm running, and I can't pay attention to people around me. Most days, actually. I happened to be looking down at the ground when I heard this bicycle ticking from in front of me. Who the hell is that? He was coming along on his bike, not riding too quickly. Black shorts, probably around 6'2" or 6'3". Very muscular, tattoos on the front of his chest, arms, and back. Blue eyes, slightly curly hair, very masculine in nature. Just my type. At first, I couldn't really believe my eyes because he kind of looked familiar, like a famous person. I couldn't put my finger on it. Who did he remind me of? As he began to get closer, I just kept telling myself, keep your cool. Don't freak out. It's just a man who's freakishly attractive. I started to straighten up a little bit, and as he rode by, he gave me a small smile. I smiled back and then, looked away. My ancestors immediately told me, do not look back. Don't look back. So I didn't, and I kept running. Then I heard that ticking noise coming up behind me. There he was again, this time coming to the side of me while riding his bike. He said, hey, I really can't pass you by. You're too beautiful not to talk to. Got him. The ancestors have been teaching me how to, as you say, catch fish. He asked if I wanted to take a walk with him toward the water. I said, sure, why not? There were plenty of people outside, so even if he was a creep, someone would be able to help me. But I knew he wasn't. I could read his energy. He seemed like a chatty Cathy, genuinely curious about who I was just as much as I was curious about him. We agreed that he could ride his bike a little bit slowly while I ran. On his back, he had a giant cross tattoo, very similar to mine, but probably 5 times the size. It also said God right beneath it. A church man. He had this look in his eyes that made me excited, but also a little nervous, not in a bad way. He could handle a woman like me, I could tell. Most men can't. I'm a bit fiery. Deeply loving, but fiery. He led the way down to the water, parked his bike, then came back and grabbed my hand. We walked down the hill together. Gentleman energy. I didn't see that coming. Great. I'm fucked. We sat on a rock at the water's edge, perfect sun and a little shade, and he pulled out strawberry sparkling waters from his backpack, my favorite flavor. He opened one for me and one for him. We talked about art, dreams, family, and faith. He said he was trying to figure out what God wanted him to do. I knew exactly what he meant. Following God is like falling down a rabbit hole without an end and with nothing to grab onto. He said he kept trying to go back to his ex, and every time he did, his life would fall apart. Eventually, he understood. Maybe he's not too sharp. Every time our eyes locked, I felt haunted. Again, not in a bad way, but in the magnetic way a feminine like me craves. I kept asking my ancestors in Oshun for a sign. Something obvious, please and thank you. 2 feathers floated right by my feet in the water. Okay, I said, double or nothing, just to be sure. 2 more identical feathers floated right in front of me again. Okay, understood. I gave him a subtle side smile, and he reached his hand to my neck, pulled me in, and kissed me. We kissed like we'd known each other forever. Salty sweat, warm hands, strong arms. Before I knew it, he had lifted me into his lap. I whispered, "You're really strong," awkwardly. He laughed. After a few passionate moments, he stood, and Mr. Johnson, yes, his actual last name as well, made his debut appearance. "Oh my," I said, looking down at what looked like a giant rocket ship. Was I really about to be spread eagle on the water's edge? I immediately slapped my forehead out of reflex and said, "What's happening right now?" out loud, and laughed. He pulled me in closer. I need to be more clear about my manifestations, I thought to myself. My brain was screaming, "Be Ruth. Ruth doesn't do this. Ruth. Only think of Ruth." But my body was saying something else. I gave every excuse to leave, even, "Oh, I think I have a business call or something." He just kept laughing because I wasn't actually leaving. I stood there with my hand on his chest, still making out, while his hands ran up and down my body. Eventually, I came out of the passionate fog and into my half-cocked, pun not intended, senses. "I'll be here for a while," he said, "if you change your mind." Both Johnsons stared back at me. I stumbled up the hill, breathless and buzzing. My run wasn't over. I had already forgotten. What do I do now? Can he, still see me? By the time I hit my stride again, my phone buzzed. "Great meeting you. Can I see you tomorrow?" I could hear his voice again. It was deep and a little muffled because he talked through his teeth sometimes. He sounded a little southern, and it turned out everywhere I had traveled last year, he had also been around the same time. I couldn't help but wonder if we were always supposed to meet here, or if maybe I missed him in my travels because of the siphoning. It was a sticky situation, but worth every single minute. So tell me, do you think that this one was real or just another mango-fueled daydream? Next Friday on ZTV, we're playing Fact or Fiction again. I'll spill what really happened, maybe what I exaggerated, and what was way too hot to admit. Drop your vote with the dots below. Bring your messy love stories, and let's laugh or cry through retrograde together, because if the exes are already coming back anyways, we might as well make it kind of juicy. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss a midnight drop. Thanks for tuning in.